Hello friends and fellow bibliophiles, welcome back to Cats and Novel Adventures. In today's video, I am so excited to finally be sharing with you my plans for 2024. I am a planner, I enjoy setting goals for myself, and I love to learn new information, especially if I can take that information and apply it somehow in my life to make it better in some way. And this year is no exception. I've just kind of gotten a late start. And I kind of fretted a little bit about not being able to start on January 1st, but I got over myself. And then I happened to see a comment in a group that I belong to on Facebook called Happier in Hollywood. And there was a comment by a lady named Carolyn who could not start her year off on January 1st either. And she has decided she's going to start her new year off on February the 10th, which happens to be the beginning of the Lunar New Year. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. I'm going to do the same thing. So it's just a couple of days from now, I am going to be starting my new year, and I can't wait to get started. I really cannot. I'm excited about my plans for the year and some of my goals and some challenges that I am doing. For the past few years, I have participated in Gretchen Rubin's Happier Trifecta, which is a fun way of working on resolutions. Gretchen Rubin is the author of The Happiness Project, among other wonderful books where she writes a lot about happiness and habits. And I have enjoyed over the years incorporating a lot of her ideas into my everyday life. And I also happen to be one of her super fans. So from time to time, we get called on to help with some of the projects that she's working on. So what is the Happier Trifecta? There are 3 elements, and they include a one-word theme, a list of aims for the year, as well as an activity in the form of a challenge that you do throughout the year. My one-word theme for 2024 is reset. After the dreadful demise of my 2023, I desperately needed to hit the reset button. My plans for this year are to replace some bad habits with some good ones, to clear some clutter in my environment, and to also boost a sense of creativity and play by cultivating an existing interest. And that last plan, having to do with creativity and play, is a result from taking Gretchen Rubin's newest quiz, which is Habits for Happiness. What's great about taking Gretchen's quiz is that you can take it multiple times depending on what you want to improve on with a habit or something you want to change. So I will leave a link in the description box below if you are interested. And what's funny is I actually was missing one item on my 24 for 2024 list. And I decided to go ahead and take her quiz to see what I could put on my list. And a lot of my aims are actually going to foster that habit, that plan for the year. And so I picked something that she recommended as part of working on that habit. So I'm very excited to include that in my year of reset. Now it's time for me to share my 24 for 2024 list with you. These are my aims that I have set for myself this year. Of these 24, I am only carrying over 3 from 2023, and almost all of these aims have to do with one of my plans for this year, which is habits, clutter clearing, or creativity and play. So I have my list with me, and we'll go ahead and go through all of them. So the first item on my list is to time track at least once per quarter, and I'd like to do this in March, June, September, and December. I got this strategy from Laura Vanderkam, who wrote 168 Hours. It is a wonderful way to see where your time is going, and I am always looking for ways to be a better time manager. The second item on my list is to join the 5 a.m. club by getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning. And I got this idea from reading the book, The 5 a.m. Club, Own Your Morning, Elevate Your Time by Robin Sharma. I really want a set time to get up in the morning, and I want to implement a better morning routine than I already have because I want to accomplish more. I find so many times by the end of the day, I'm like, if I would have just gotten up a little bit earlier today, I could have gotten to a couple of more items on my list. So that is one goal out of this book. Number 3 on my list also happens to do with this book, and that is to implement the 20-20-20 formula. And basically, that is 3 pockets of time of 20 minutes for each pocket, and it has a different activity you would do for each one of those pockets. So for the first pocket, which would be from 5 o'clock to 5:20, you would move. This would be to do some sort of exercise. In pocket number 2, from 5:20 to 5:40, you would reflect. And this would be some kind of spiritual reflection. You could meditate, you could journal. And then pocket number 3 is from 5:40 to 6 o'clock. And this is an opportunity to grow. This is for you to review goals, read some books, listen to podcasts, study online, but it's just a way for you to set a tone for your morning. You know, it's like the core of mastering your morning. And then number 4 is to implement the pre-sleep ritual that's also coming from this book, and that is to get yourself ready for bed. And so according to this, I don't know if I will follow this 100%, but I will follow it probably adjusting times a little bit. So according to the book, it says from 7 to 8, that's when you would have your last meal of the day. You turn your devices off, and then, you'll go isolation from overstimulation. So it's just kind of like calming yourself down. Now, I eat my last meal of the day a lot earlier than that. So like I said, I'll tweak this a little bit. They suggest from 8 to 9, this is your time for conversations with loved ones. You might have a second period of meditation, frequent reading, or listening to audiobooks or podcast time, regular session for recreational pursuits, or you might want to take an Epsom salt bath. I mean, like I said, this will have to be adjusted a little bit because my husband a lot of times goes to bed at 8 o'clock. So I'll probably have my conversations with him between that 7 and 8 period. And then from 9 to 10, this is just your preparation for actual sleep. Just make sure that you don't have any tech in your room and lights out when you're supposed to be actually sleeping. Number 5 is to quit coffee. And as much as I don't want to quit coffee, I have to if I want to get off of my reflux medicine. So I am thinking about quitting it, get off the reflux medicine, and see if I can use some other kind of coffee alternative. Maybe a low acid coffee, maybe a cold brew. I think there are different little options that I can try. And in the meantime, I will be drinking my herbal tea. Number 6 is to strength train 2 times per week. I'd like to implement that. Number 7 is to walk at least 30 minutes daily, preferably outside. And then number 8 is to get a massage. I have not had one in a couple of years, and I really would like to get one. They are absolutely wonderful. At least I think so anyway. And if you notice, my numbers 1 through 8 have to do with habits and self-care. And so I'm very excited about trying to develop these new habits in my life. I think they will make me happier. They're obviously going to make me a little bit healthier. And then number 9 is to clear clutter in my scrapbook room. And this is one of the outcomes of taking Gretchen Rubin's Habits for Happiness quiz. Because if I do this, if I can clear my tables in there and kind of get the books out of there and some things that I've been storing in there, then I can actually take my time to do other projects in there, like scrapbooking. I could also put my puzzles together in there. So it's an opportunity for me to work on my existing interest. And then number 10 is to buy a book cart. This is a carryover from last year. I really need to get the book cart. I'm so excited that I noticed that Cameron had a book cart in his home library, and he told me he got it from Target. So I really am leaning towards getting it. It's just a matter of going there and picking it out. I have birthday money to buy the cart. It's just deciding on a color and picking it up and bringing it home. And then number 11 is to buy 2 bookcases for my living room. That is going to be huge with helping with putting books on my shelves. And then number 12 is to organize my home library. This is also one that I carried over from 2023. I really do think that if I can get the bookshelves in my house and books on shelves, then I can organize them the way I want to. I can count to see how many books I have in my collection, and then I can actually start chipping away at reading a lot of these unread books that I own. Number 13 is to keep track of spending on books. I really want to do that. I got this idea from Alex over at Frank Fiction, and I want to see how many books I'm buying and how much it's costing me to do that. I've already started keeping track because I did purchase some books in January. And then number 14 is to get library cards. Now here in Louisiana, we have parishes. In your state, it might be counties. But each parish, you have to have your own library card for. It's not like I can just have a library card for Louisiana and go to any library. So my goal is to get my library card for my parish, which is Tangipahoa. And then if I have my library card for my parish, I can also apply for one in different parishes. So I'd like to get one for Livingston Parish because there's a library probably about 10 to 12 minutes away from my house in Livingston Parish, and it's new, and I'd love to go check out what they have over there. And then I'd also like to get a library card for the Baton Rouge Library because that's where Andrew works, and his library is the main branch for all of Baton Rouge area, and it is absolutely gorgeous, and it has a lot of books there. So I really want to try to utilize my library a lot this year. It's going to help with my book spending. Then number 15 is to start a new booktube project. I've had this idea on my mind for a little while, and I want to see if there's any way that I can actually put it into practice somehow or create it. I'm just trying to think how I'm going to go about doing it, and it probably won't even be until like the summertime, but I have something on my mind. And then for number 16, I want to read 24 books that I did not get to in 2023 or 2022. I will reveal those books hopefully soon. And then number 17 is to have a year of Christie, meaning Agatha Christie, but it's going to be 2.0. So last year I read 6 books. This year I want to read the remaining 6 books that I didn't get to last year. So I mentioned in my 23 for 2023 wrap-up video that I want to read Come Tell Me How You Live, an archaeological memoir by Agatha Christie. This is one that was recommended to me by my friend Emma of Emma Bennett. And then also I want to read Halloween Party, which is a Hercule Poirot mystery. I wanted to read this in October and I didn't get to it, so I definitely want to get to it this October because it would be perfect for the spooky season. And then, of course, I have 4 slips of paper with titles recommended to me by some of my other friends. So that will make 6 books, and then I can complete my year of Christie in its entirety. So that carried over somewhat from last year. I started it last year. Number 18, I want to do a buddy read this year with my friend Alex at Frank Fiction, and we want to read Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I love this cover. It's absolutely beautiful to me, and it is about a character named Tova Sullivan. It says, after Tova Sullivan's husband died, she began working the night shift at the Sowell Bay Aquarium, mopping floors and tidying up. Keeping busy has always helped her cope, which she's been doing since her 18-year-old son, Eric, mysteriously vanished on a boat in Puget Sound over 30 years ago. Tova becomes acquainted with curmudgeonly Marcellus, a giant Pacific octopus living at the aquarium. Marcellus knows more than anyone can imagine, but wouldn't dream of lifting one of his 8 arms for his human captors until he forms a remarkable friendship with Tova. Ever the detective, Marcellus deduces what happened the night Tova's son disappeared, and now Marcellus must use every trick his old invertebrate body can muster to unearth the truth for her before it's too late. So I just think it sounds wonderful, and I noticed that Alex wanted to read it, so I asked her if she wanted to buddy read, and we are planning to read this in March. So very excited about that. My number 19 item is to read the Daily Stoic 366 Meditations on Wisdom, Perseverance, and the Art of Living. This is by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. So I already started this. I actually received my copy on January the 4th, and I've been reading pretty much daily. A couple of days I've had to double up. But this is basically a devotional of Stoic insights and exercises featuring all new translations from the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the playwright Seneca, or the slave-turned-philosopher Epictetus, as well as lesser-known luminaries like Zeno, Clynthius, and Musonius Rufus. So every day of the year, you'll find one of their pithy, powerful quotations, as well as historical anecdotes, provocative commentary, and a helpful glossary of Greek terms. So I just thought that this would be a great reading project to have throughout the year, and this would probably be one of the items that I would be reading during my 2020 formula, at least that pocket where you're supposed to read. And then another carryover from 2023 and probably 2022 and 2021 is finally reading The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And if I cannot get to this year, then I think I'm just going to put it aside and be done with it, because it does intimidate me. I've mentioned that before. It does intimidate me, and I'll more than likely have to do it during the summertime so I can have some time devoted to it every morning, because they have the morning pages that you need to write. But I really am hoping I can get to it, and maybe I won't do it as perfectly as it's spelled out in the book, but at least I can make an effort to do something related to it, because I really wanted to read it, and I'd like to see how it sparks more creativity in my life. And then number 21 is to read On Writing, a Memoir of the Craft by Stephen King. This has been on my shelf for a very long time, and I'm finally wanting to get to it. And a lot of it has to do with the challenge that Gretchen has created for this year, which I'll get to in a few minutes. And then I want to, for number 22, I'd like to write about my adventures in Sicily on my blog. 23 is to organize my photos and video clips from my Sicily trip. And then number 24 is to scrapbook 24 times in 2024. So I really am hoping that with my plans and with my one-word theme that I can get to some of these aims, if not all of them. I would love to get to all of them. But I really do hope that I can get to a majority of what I have on this list. So in addition to my 24 for 2024 list, I do have some other fun plans that I would like to take part in during 2024. And one of them is the part of the trifecta, which is the challenge that Gretchen and her sister always pick for the year. And in 2024, the challenge is to write 24 in 24. And so you have two options for this. You could either write 2 to 4 minutes each day, or you could write at least 24 minutes each day. And I think this is going to be a fun project. Now, according to Gretchen, if you write consistently, you'll be astonished by how much you can accomplish in 2024. We often underestimate what we can do if we work consistently. And why I think it's going to be fun is because I already enjoy writing as it is. And I have always done some type of writing in my life. It's just that I have not been writing as much since July of last year. So I'm loving that this is their challenge for this year. I've already started doing this since the beginning of the year, so I'm expecting to continue. And one thing that's good is my writing can also occur during one of my pockets of the 20-20-20 formula. Also, you'll notice that I have a couple items on my 24 for 2024 that has to do with writing, like reading, writing books, or having to do with writing projects. So some other things that I will be devoting my writing time to are my blog posts, book reviews on my Goodreads. I'd like to also do some journaling in my scrapbooks. Also, to-do and to-do lists count. Correspondence with family and friends through cards. I love to send cards to people. Notes for my videos that I'll be filming throughout the year, and then the morning pages, which have to do with the artist's way. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't get up to some other writing projects. Like, it would be wonderful if I could participate in NaNoWriMo, either in the camp that they have during the summer, I believe it's in July, or possibly in November for the big NaNoWriMo month. But who knows? I mean, I've done it before, so who's to say I can't do it again this year? We shall see. So I also participate in the Goodreads challenge. And this year I have decided I'm going to try to read 100 books. I read 96 last year. I was 4 books shy of 100. So I'm going to really try to make 100 this year. And if you don't follow me on Goodreads right now, please consider doing that. You can find my link in the description box below. Also, my Chills, Thrills, and Kills book club that I run with Kelsi over at Slime and Slashers. It's been on hiatus, but I'd really like to meet with her at some point and see if we can meet with our members and try to get that back up and running. And that might not happen until the summertime, but I really would like to do that because I loved meeting with our group. We picked some really awesome books to read. I will also participate in some other book clubs that I've currently been participating in. For example, the FOMO book club, the Middle Grade March book club, and the Cozy Cottage. And I also would like to try to participate in some of my other friends' book clubs throughout the year as well when I can fit them in. I will continue doing some collabs with Kelsi. Our collabs a lot of times can be viewed on her channel, which is Slime and Slashers. It's a nostalgia and horror channel. If you are not subscribed to Kelsi's channel, I highly recommend that you do. I will leave a link to her channel as well in the description box. I will also be participating in Frugal February, which I'm actually participating right now because we're currently in February. This is a no spend month, and that means that I am only buying items that I need, not that I want, and only spending it on things that I should be spending it on. Not so much things I just feel like frivolously going and doing in this month. So far, so good. I'm doing well so far. I will also be doing my birthday message project, but it's going to be a 2.0. I am actually just going to continue into this year so that I can catch the people that I didn't get to in 2023. And that's basically me just sending a little happy birthday message to them. And then I want to keep my to-do list for 2024. This is a list of goals or activities that might not have been on my 24 for 2024, but may have cropped up throughout the year, but I want to acknowledge that I did it. For example, in January, I attended an improv workshop, and in February, another one is being offered, so I'd really like to attend that as well. I will also be continuing to create videos for my channel, Cats and Novel Adventures. I'm really having a good time with this. I actually passed my 1-year anniversary of releasing my first video back in October of 2023. I'm hoping to do like a milestone video because I've surpassed a couple of milestones since then, and I'd like to do like a little Q&A video if we can. I've actually produced and filmed 150 videos between my live events and my pre-recorded videos. So very excited about that. I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers in 2024. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. I really, really would appreciate it. Well, friends, those are my plans for 2024. I am so excited about getting this year started. I love my one-word theme, which is reset. I was inspired by Richie Norton's quote where he says, every sunset is an opportunity to reset. Every sunrise begins with new eyes. I love the fact that every morning I have an opportunity to wake up and to work on something that is going to make my life better. And I'm looking forward to getting some of these aims crossed off my 24 for 2024 list, and I'm loving the Write 24 in 24 challenge. I'm just hoping that I can keep up the momentum with it. So how about you? Did you set any resolutions for this year? If so, did you start on January 1st? Or did you start later? Or have you even started yet? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I really do appreciate you stopping by. I thank you so much for watching. And until our paths cross again, stay amazing and be adventurous.